Let's talk about your role as an associate trainer. You may think your role is simply to teach a class and that's it. But it's actually a bit more than that. In fact, associate trainers play 3 specific roles at DKSH. The first is the role of administrator. You're going to be responsible for some level of record keeping, making sure that things are set up on time, make sure the class starts on time. You're going to need to record attendance. Now, this varies from market to market, and your local learning and development or local HR team will let you know what your responsibilities are. But you have administrative responsibility just to help make sure that things run smoothly. Now, your biggest area of responsibility is around being a facilitator, literally facilitating the learning environment in the class, making sure that all learning points are covered, making sure that activities are done correctly, and basically making sure that the learning actually occurs. And we'll talk more about that in upcoming videos. Your final role is that of coach. And I know coach has many different meanings depending on the context. But in this case, I actually want you to think of a sporting coach. And a sporting coach is someone who helps their athletes achieve at the highest possible level. And basically, this is kind of the role of being a psychologist, if you will. It's helping understand where your learners might be fearful or unwilling to fail and want to stay inside their comfort zone. Remember, we talked about adult learners often have a fear of failure. They don't want to look bad in front of others. And so your role as a coach is to help figure out what's going on in the head of your learners and how can you help them make them comfortable to take some risks, to step outside their comfort zone, to learn, to try something new, and yes, to fail and make mistakes along the way, but then to learn from those failures, get up and try again. So really, to help people reach their full potential. So you've got these 3 roles: administrator, facilitator, and coach. And I want you to think about how when you are conducting training, how do you play all 3 of these roles? Our learning management system, Maya, is a tool that will help you on the administrator side. And your local HR or local learning and development team will explain to you in your market what are your responsibilities as they relate to Maya. But in general, Maya can help you to check who's going to be in your class in advance so you can get in contact with them. You can use Maya to record the attendance. You can also do assignment of on-the-job learning after the class to participants. And you may also, in some cases, be able to sign off on that on-the-job learning. So again, check with your local teams for more details. What's important is to realize that you have a responsibility to help learners learn, not just in the classroom, but outside. And so there's 4 things you can do to help that happen. The first would be to actually meet the learners beforehand. I would suggest reaching out to them, ideally in person, but over the phone is good. But understand a little bit more about their context, their experience. Are they looking forward to the class? Do they know why they're going, etc.? And then help them begin with the end in mind, which means helping them really think about when and where on the job could they apply what they're going to learn. So this is helping them and even their managers think about what does this person need to be able to do when they get back from the training. Basically, what is the 20 and 70 that they're going to do after they're done with the 10%? Once you're in the class, you're also going to help them build a realistic plan to transfer that learning from the classroom back on the job. And then I would suggest following up afterwards, whether it's just informal one-on-one sessions, or maybe you bring all of the learners together and a month or 2 later you have a 1-hour session like a check-in or a community of practice. And just follow up on the learning. What have you applied? What's working? What have you learned? What's still a challenge for you? Because this will really help the learning go from the 10% to the 20% and the 70% and really drive hitting that Kirkpatrick level 3 behavior change on the job. Think about how you can do these things as an associate, and we'll talk more about it during the facilitation skills class.